Hey, welcome to a actual bi-monthly a vlog report of All Is Fair in Dust and Air and Broken Hammer Games. I am founder and CEO of the company, and apologies for last month. There was just some technical issues with the camera, and we're trying to set it all up, and it was going to take longer to kind of get it resolved, and I was not able to get it resolved in time, so I decided to move it on over into October if possible, and then the month was busy, so here we are. I will be covering events for both months, for September and October, because in some ways they actually kind of cross over into each other. The big thing last month, well, not last month, the month before, September, was we got Dust and Air Mobile released on iOS. Now, the iOS release was a long time coming. It was a lot of work, a lot of hassles trying to get it done. We managed to get it out, and thankfully I went through like maybe 2 weeks of testing at Apple. Apple was just like going through it with a fine-tooth comb and making sure we had everything perfectly right. I mean, we never really had that. We didn't have that with Steam. We didn't have that with Google. Google really didn't care. There's like, as long as it boots up, we don't care type of thing. So hats off to Apple. They did a really good job getting us approved. But anyways, that's another big thing that happened, though, and this actually goes into October now, is towards the end of September, there was a release of Tyranno. Now, we know that Strikeworks took over Tyranno. I know how this plays into the iOS version and the macOS version is, I mean, they did it as it didn't seem like a big release, but I decided I'm loading up the MacBook. Let me just see what happens. I loaded it up when I was like, and all of a sudden, Tyranno started to update on the MacBook, and it said, oh, you can install it. So I loaded it up and everything works. So there's now a functional build of Tyranno Builder for M1 Macs, and for the modern Macs, you don't have to go back, get an old ancient Mac to try and load everything up. And so how that's kind of big and how that plays into the iOS port is that one of the reasons we had to take so long is because we had to go through a version of Tyranno called Tyranno Studio, which is a Japanese version, and it's sort of like the free little, I mean, we get like one version here in the West. They have like maybe 2 or 3 different versions, and this is the free version, but it could port to Mac and port to iOS. And the Tyranno in the Western audience, it doesn't port to Mac or iOS anymore because it's too old. It's just ancient, and unfortunately, we had to go through so many hoops this year, and Strikeworks, bless them, they did it. They actually released it, updated things for Mac OS. We haven't dug too much into the frameworks. The frameworks is another possible issue, but I mean, they're bringing everything over bit by bit, so we're really glad to see that we have a working Mac OS build, and actually we can do a lot of stuff in Mac OS. In some ways, it's funny because a programmer that's working on the iOS build, he actually built some little, I guess it's like it's either a program or a script that you run that will convert and port every image, every video, everything over to a better format, and will also fix up all the KS files, everything, and so, but it only works on Mac. So what we are going to announce right now is that the Mac version is going to be the first version that we're going to be released that's going to have all this stuff done. So what we're going to try to do, and this is especially become to light because, well, frankly, a lot of the Macs out there, M1 Macs, your starting amount of memory, your hard disk size is 256 gig. That's not enough to hold a lot of games. So that's just it, and we want to definitely be able to cater to more of a larger crowd. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to do the Mac build is one where we're going to put everything through that script. We're going to do like what we did with iOS, except Mac version is going to have the extra UI features that the mobile version doesn't have, and that's just like the extra buttons on the frame, which is the one thing that kind of bugs out. Sometimes it just vanishes, sometimes it doesn't vanish. We're not 100% sure what's been going on. Tyranno's never been able to answer us about that issue. Of course, we haven't asked Strikeworks, so that might be another thing to put forward to Strikeworks if they'll get back to us. Again, there's a translation barrier now, being the Japanese team on the western side. Before, they had a guy that handled everything on the west, and now it's just Strikeworks doing it. So that's another thing we're going to be looking into as we get the Mac OS version out and underway. We will be releasing it on, our plan is Steam for sure, and we should have a version on itch, and we do plan to put it on the App Store as well, since we're already on the App Store with the iOS build, so might as well. But that will, give or take, we're going to try to get that out before the end of the year. It's going to be a lot of compressing, fixing all the images files and all that stuff, and then converting everything over. The file size should be under 500 megabytes in the end. And we're hoping that's our target. We managed to do that with iOS. We kind of had to change a bunch of things to make that size. So it's a little bit more of a trimmed down version, but it's the same game. So we'll see on Mac OS. Are we going to take that over to PC? Our plan right now, Mac OS is going to be the first thing to do that, and then we're going to branch it into PC. So the PC version will be getting an update. It'll be probably 1.3 update in the near days ahead, and that's going to expand all the images. So instead of, contract all the images, so they're actually a lot more compact on the file size. Will we touch the demo up? Possibly. I'm not counting on doing much with the demo just yet. That's about it for the iOS programming side. We were really excited. The fact that it got approved literally on the day and almost to the hour of when we released Dustin from early access. So we exited early access on September 21st, and the year before, and iOS got up right on the same day. We were not trying that. We were not even attempting to try that. We were just trying to get it out two months earlier, and we ran into problems. So that was a very I've come to find out that there's no such thing as coincidence anymore. So yay, it's out. That's the good news. As far as the rest of the month of September, what I can go over, you can see it in the blog post itself. We did have some backgrounds and a lot of stuff that got done there. I'm going to wait a second to share some images with you, because I do have, as you know, if you followed me along all this time, I do add more images into the vlog than I do on the blog. Much of the last 2 months was just getting all this MacPort stuff done. So, and we also, in September, we announced that we had a major key image that was getting done. That did get done in the month of October. I will be actually showing you a part of it. I can't show you the whole image because that's for final players later when they get there, but I will show you part because it is kind of a big part, because it includes a bunch of characters that are going to be added later in full models and everything. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into Photoshop Elements. Yes, one of these days I will upgrade from 2015 Photoshop Elements, but for now I just go with what works. So this is one of the big background images. Now, we teased this image. This is our Eddings Cove docks. It's not the whole image, of course. I'm kind of wanting to keep the rest of the image as a surprise, but I'm just showing what we have done, what Georgie was working on, and the level of work he did, trying to get the daytime, nighttime effects, and then there's a weather effect too that he has added to this. This is a rain effect. Eddings Cove is going to be more of a wet area, so there's going to be a bit more weather that we're going to have to deal with, more cold, although we're not having snow. Yeah, no, except for other parts of the Baronies. We're trying to do a thing with Eddings Cove where it's the lower southern area, so you're looking at more moisture climate, wetter climate, more of a farming country type area, so there's going to be a little bit more rain. expect to see this area look more like Pacific Northwest / the fjords in Europe. Eastern Europe, some of those areas very lush, very green. There's going to be a lot of that in Eddings Cove, and this is kind of just showing the progression that we're working on. And we're having to kind of do this for a lot of background images, not just one image, but we're having to do multiple and do weather effects, do night effects. And this is actually going to help us throughout the entire story. This we're going to be having daytime scenes at the docks, or nighttime scenes. We're going to have weather effects scenes at the docks. So when we finish something like this early, it helps out the entire development as we go. Now the other thing I'm going to show before I finish this up here is part of the key image, the major one. Now this is just a chunk of it. These are just some characters in the background. They're a little bit blurry for a reason. We're trying to focus on another thing that's happening in the image, but I just wanted to show them because these guys are going to be added into the game later. We do have a character model on 2 of them right now. The other ones are going to be coming eventually, and we will see them at different times in the story, so kind of getting these other character models done right now is very helpful. It's just kind of speeds it up. When we go back to this image later, we're not going to have to say, oh, what do these guys look like? We're not going to have to reconcept everything and say, oh, it's already there. So Georgie will be able to get right to that later. There is another character model that got some concepting done on, and that is we are going to be, as I believe I announced this year, we're going to be doing some costume changes on characters, outfit changes. Gwen's going to have a different outfit at times in her story, Raven's Prayer, and so we are kind of working with the current models, updating the outfit, updating the costume, getting some of that ready. Georgie just finished like an initial rough sketch, rough idea of what he wants to do with it. We ran it through approval. It's looking really good. We're not going to be showing that because that's going to be reserved for the story itself, Raven's Prayer. And there are some key images that are going to be tied to that outfit and how the scene plays. So we kind of don't want to spoil too much of that yet. But it's looking good. It's looking good. We're figuring this out because many of the other stories, Kali's story, Ali's story, all of them, they're going to have some events where the costumes are going to have to change. The dress is going to have to change. There are different scenes, different things that are going to require an outfit to change. We can't use the same outfit over and over and over. So we're going to be doing that. This is going to be the first big attempt on trying to take their current models, update them, and make it all look right. So we will update that probably next month, pending everything continues to go smoothly. It is approaching the end of the year. We are approaching the holiday season. We're aware that people get busy. People have real life. They enjoy things. So we'll update as much as we can going into the end of the year. And also we do have Project 2. We're very happy that Ingrid is back. She had to do a major move and such, and we were getting some good progress done on the Project 2 characters when this happened. She had to stop, and now she's back, and she's already starting up on some of the new characters that we are needing for that. So that is moving along all right. We are still looking for background artists, although we have been checking out some of the AI creation art, because some of the backgrounds for that are not going to be too major, and we might be able to do something like that as long as it looks like it's going to match the art style. So that might be a simple, quick option. Either that, or it's going to be enough to help concept some backgrounds, so then we can hire somebody else. Says, hey, just touch this up, redraw this, or just add this here or there. It's wonderful where tech is going. Of course, it doesn't replace a real artist. We'd rather have real artists do it, but it is actually difficult finding background artists, surprisingly. I mean, there are a lot of people like drawing characters, a lot of people like drawing maybe city buildings a little bit, but trying to do full landscapes and cityscape, all these type of things, it's rough to find that. We're really grateful for having Khan part of this project. I mean, we started up, we kind of figured we were going to have more artists come along, everything eventually, but we've just been kind of plugging away on it in our little tight group that we have. In some ways it's better than some of the other projects, and the other projects might get done faster, but if you notice when you play some of them, their art is like all over the place, different styles, different everything, and it's just a mess. We're kind of keeping our styles down to like maybe 2 to 3 different styles, possibly 4 at the most, but we're trying to make it so that they kind of mesh as much as possible, and that's been one of the issues. I'm trying to find more artists, trying to find more background, you name it. So it's going along. Other than that, October was a busy month, busy with everything. September was really busy, really exciting. We've had some very big advancements in the last 2 months. So November, as far as the art goes, yeah, we're expecting some more big updates on art going into November. Also, probably the Mac OS port is going to be on the table, trying to get done. Hopefully we're going to have a at least a playable going. We did have a playable of the mobile. That was one thing, because we on the testing track, when you do for iOS, you can select like iOS, Mac OS, and M1. So we said, well, let's just load it up. Let's load up a testing track of the M1 Mac, and we downloaded Dustin Air Mobile on M1, and loads up beautifully. No issues at all. It's works fine, so we're not expecting too many issues with the Mac version because it's working great there. It's just trying to get an official port for Mac instead of just, we kind of said, well, we could just do the mobile version and just kind of like be done with it and just say it works on Mac. No, we're gonna do full Mac version. So we're not gonna, because one problem is like trying to get to work on Steam too. Instead, App Store is great, we need it on Steam. So anyways, that is it for this month. Look forward to next month, November, and then our year-end report going in. If this works okay, we might do some more bi-monthly videos like this, depending on how much, because we're kind of getting to the point where being able to reveal certain things, we can't reveal everything. Some stuff has to stay hidden, so we're kind of having to push stuff back, put it away, and we might shift to more of a bi-monthly on the videos, so then we have more stuff that we can actually show, or we have time to edit things so we can show it, just like we did with Gwen's big key image. We only showed a portion of it, not the full thing. Other than that, thanks for joining. See you in the skies. Jenny.